The federal government comes to New York. President Obama was in New York today to push for more spending on highways and bridges to pay for the $300 billion plan. The president wants to raise taxes on already overtaxed drivers. With more on this, Mattie Duppler with Americans for Tax Reform. Mattie, great to have you here. You know, the president today saying we're desperate for more money, obviously, but I got to tell you, I feel like I'm already paying a lot of money for roads. There's the federal taxes, there's the state taxes. We've had spending go up 28% in 10 years. Where is this money going?
Right, and the president talking about spending on transportation, immediately it gives him an opportunity to talk about his budget and tax plan, which goes right after energy producers, which goes right after the job creators in this country, trying to sock them with more taxes to pay for his own agenda. Because where the money is going is not on highways. We've been hearing for years that the Highway Trust Fund is going to be bankrupt, and that's the case. But it's because we spend anywhere from 30 to 40% of ththose highway funds on things that have nothing to do with drivers. We send them on transit projects.
We
send them on transit projects which the left loves because it is a whole unholy alliance between the greenies and the labor unions who get those jobs. And because of labor laws at the federal level, all of these construction projects cost anywhere from 10 to 30% more because they're required to have negotiated labor contracts that cost quite a bit more than they would if they were privately bid in the private sector without labor unions. And all of these things.
Okay, well, let me stop you there. You put a lot on the table, so let's talk about it. You mentioned the Davis-Bacon Act, and Columbia University found that the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is where the president was today, costs for that overall were up 30% because of paying labor workers to do the work. So why haven't we rethought this? This law was passed 35 years ago. Isn't it time, since we're so cash-strapped as a nation, and this has got to be a priority, highways should be a priority, isn't it time to rethink that?
Oh, absolutely. And this is something that doesn't just apply to transportation projects, but it's particularly prevalent when we're talking about highway projects because construction, infrastructure, these are all those shovel-ready jobs that the administration loves to talk about, that politicians love to stand in front of. But, of course, shovel-ready doesn't actually translate into economic improvement, into actual jobs.
And he admitted it himself, you have to say. I want to read you something from a GAO report from June 2009. Here's what they said about where the transportation highway money is going. During fiscal years 2004 through 2008, 4 agencies within the Department of Transportation obligated about $78 billion in the Highway Transportation Fund, monies for purposes other than construction and maintenance of bridges. Pretty flowers, mowing. I mean, come on. I mean, it sounds like these are just honeypots that anybody can get their hands into.
Right. The Highway Trust Fund is, for all intents and purposes, a political slush fund for politicians to bring pork home to their districts and stand in front of the train museum they get to build with highway funds, the new transit or railroad station they get to build, or the bike path that a lot of highway funding goes towards, because these are all projects that politicians really like, that appease the left, that really go towards urban Democrat spaces, because they offer so many great photo ops.
Well, that's absolutely true. I just, look, you know, the federal highway tax, gas tax is 18.4 cents, and it's been that way for a couple of decades now. A lot of the left says you got to raise that. But I'm already paying state taxes, and take a look at the taxes, total taxes, federal and state combined in some states across the country, New York, California, Hawaii. These folks are paying a lot. And this is a real-world tax. This isn't a tax that you can just avoid somehow. If you're going to work, you're going to church, you're taking the kids to school, whatever you're doing, you're going to pay that tax. So it seems to me the idea that we have to put more money into this just doesn't work. What's a better solution?
Absolutely, and the president's plan would increase corporate income taxes on the energy producers who are already bearing the burden of all of those costs. So all we're going to be doing with the president's plan is increasing the cost of energy, making it more expensive to be able to drive your car, which, of course, the president's plan still relies on those revenues. So it's a double-edged sword for him when he wants to increase the cost for actually being a driver and for the people who fund these roads, but then he wants to take that money, make it more expensive through labor contract laws, and then use it on transit programs, not even plow it back into the highways he's pretending he needs to fix.
Well, it's a very complicated program, but I got to tell you, I'm over the potholes. I want them fixed. Mattie, thank you.
I'm with you.